12 years, 12 long years of breaking my fast alone in my apartment, ordering pizza or whatever food I could find, sitting in complete silence while the sun set outside my window. 12 years of wondering what it would feel like to share iftar with other people who understood the sacred beauty of this month. I converted to Islam when I was young, and from that moment, my life changed completely, not just spiritually, but socially. Most of my friends didn't understand. My family thought it was a phase I'd grow out of. They kept waiting for me to come back to who I used to be, but I couldn't go back. Islam had become part of my soul, part of who I was at my core. Living in America as a Muslim, especially as a convert, can be incredibly isolating. You're caught between two worlds, not quite fitting into the community you came from, and sometimes struggling to find your place in the Muslim community. Every Ramadan, I'd watch videos online of families gathering for iftar, children laughing around tables full of food, grandparents sharing stories, everyone coming together in this beautiful ritual of breaking the fast. And I'd sit there in my apartment completely alone, wondering what that felt like. The loneliness was overwhelming sometimes, not just during Ramadan, but especially during Ramadan. This is supposed to be a month of community, of coming together, of sharing the spiritual journey with others. Instead, I'd set my phone alarm for Maghrib time. And when it went off, I'd eat whatever I had ordered in complete silence. Sometimes I'd try to make it special, light a candle, say a prayer out loud just to hear my own voice in the quiet apartment. But mostly it was just me and the emptiness. I used to dream about what it would be like to be in a Muslim country during Ramadan. I'd imagine hearing the call to prayer echoing through the streets, seeing entire cities slow down and prepare for iftar together. I'd imagine walking past homes and restaurants and knowing that behind every door, families were gathering, sharing this experience that I only knew in solitude. But dreams felt like all they would ever be. Then this year, everything changed. I got an opportunity to visit Algeria during Ramadan. Algeria, a country I'd never been to, where I didn't speak Arabic fluently, where I knew absolutely no one. But it was a Muslim country and it was Ramadan. And for the first time in 12 years, I thought maybe I wouldn't have to break my fast alone. When I arrived in Algeria, I didn't know what to expect. Would people accept me as a real Muslim? Would they see me as an outsider trying to fit in? I've dealt with that feeling before. Not being Muslim enough for some people, not being American enough for others, always caught somewhere in between, never fully belonging anywhere. But from the moment I stepped off the plane, something felt different. There was an energy in the air, a sense of anticipation and spirituality that I'd never experienced before. The call to prayer wasn't something I had to stream on my phone. It was everywhere, calling the entire city to remember Allah together. For the first time in my life, I wasn't the only one responding to that call. My first day of fasting in Algeria, I woke up for suhur and I could hear other people moving around preparing for the day. I wasn't the only one setting an alarm for 4 a.m. I wasn't the only one eating in the quiet hours before dawn. For the first time in 12 years, I was part of something bigger than just my own spiritual practice. As the day went on, I noticed how the entire country moved to the rhythm of Ramadan. Restaurants were closed during the day. People moved a little slower, spoke a little softer. There was a collective understanding that this was a sacred time, a time for reflection and discipline and spiritual growth. I wasn't explaining my faith to anyone. I wasn't the odd one out. I was just part of it. When Maghrib approached that first day, I was walking through the streets of Algiers and I started to panic a little. Where would I go to break my fast? Would I end up alone in my hotel room again, just like I had been for 12 years? Would this experience be just like all the others, despite being in a Muslim country? But then something beautiful happened. A family saw me, recognized that I was a visitor, and without hesitation, they invited me to join them for iftar. Not because they knew who I was, not because they wanted anything from me, but simply because it was Ramadan, and no one should break their fast alone. I sat at their table, surrounded by their children, their grandparents, their extended family. The table was full of traditional Algerian food, dates, chorba soup, burek, fresh bread. The children were excited, chattering in Arabic and French, occasionally switching to English to include me in their conversations. The grandmother kept putting more food on my plate, smiling at me with such warmth that I felt like I'd known her my whole life. When the call to prayer began and we broke our fast together, I started crying. Not sad tears, but tears of overwhelming gratitude and belonging. For 12 years, I had wondered what this felt like. And now I knew this was what I had been missing. This sense of community, of shared purpose, of being part of something beautiful and sacred. The warmth wasn't just from this one family. Everywhere I went in Algeria, people welcomed me. They invited me to their homes, to their mosques, to their communities. They shared their food, their prayers, their traditions with me. They made me feel like I belonged, like I was part of their extended family, like my faith was just as valid and beautiful as theirs. One evening, I was invited to a mosque for Tarawih prayers. I'd never prayed Tarawih with the community before. I'd always done it alone in my apartment. Standing there in the mosque, surrounded by hundreds of other Muslims, all of us moving together in prayer, all of us connected in this ancient ritual, I felt something I'd never felt before. I felt like I was home. After the prayers, the women invited me to sit with them. They asked about my story, about how I came to Islam, about my life in America. But they didn't ask with judgment or curiosity. They asked with genuine care and interest. They shared their own stories with me, their struggles and joys, their own journeys with faith. For the first time in 12 years, I felt like I was part of the sisterhood I'd always longed for. Each night brought new invitations, new families, new experiences. I learned to make traditional Algerian dishes. I listened to stories passed down through generations. I watched children learn their prayers, their faces glowing with the same spiritual light I'd felt when I first discovered Islam. I was witnessing faith as it was meant to be lived, in community and love and shared devotion. The most beautiful moment came during the last 10 nights of Ramadan. I was at a family's home for Iftar, and their youngest daughter, maybe 6 years old, came up to me and took my hand. She looked up at me with these bright, innocent eyes and said in broken English, "You are my sister." In that moment, all the years of loneliness, all the nights of breaking fast alone, all the wondering if I truly belonged, it all melted away. Algeria didn't just give me my first real Ramadan experience. It gave me something I'd been searching for my entire Muslim life, a sense of home. Not just a physical place, but a spiritual home where my faith was celebrated, where my journey was honored, where I was embraced as family. Now, when I think about those 12 years of solitude, I don't feel sadness anymore. I feel gratitude. Those years taught me to never take community for granted. They prepared me to fully appreciate this gift of belonging. They showed me the true value of what I found in Algeria, not just hospitality, but love. Not just acceptance, but family. This Ramadan changed everything for me. I finally understand what I was missing all those years. I finally know what it feels like to be part of something bigger than myself during this sacred month. And I know that no matter where I am in the world, I'll always carry this feeling with me. The feeling of belonging, of community, of being truly home in my faith and with my people.